and within the layout now we see there are two other UIBBs, so which probably we don't want. So what we'll do, we'll go to this page layout, and so we'll select this page layout and we'll delete this, so that we have one form UIBB, and so this layout is defined with this name config ID ZZBS location form, and once this is done, then I may go to wire schema, and in this wire schema, so the table is blank, so I'll say plus wire to create a new wire, and on the right hand side we can then select the config ID that we just configured, which is ZZBS location form. The system will need a connector class, and we can use the standard connector class, which is CL USMD connector BOL QRY. When you press enter, the system will need the feeder parameters. So the feeder parameter is the name of our general model, and also the dynamic query. So we select dynamic query location. So recall, within the general model, this was also one of the object that was shown in the node structure. So we select this, and then check this once and save this. So we know that the page ID is main, and so a wire gets connected. We can see this wire. So there is a single UIBB, which is ZZBS location form, and then let's close this. So back into the communicator setting. So if I open the manage UIBB page and select my own data model, which is ZA, and press the refresh button, so the system will then show the other application. So again, after the UI configuration is done, then we'll do the communicator settings. So the first thing, create communicator. We don't need to change the naming convention. Call this as a local object, and here we need to define the parameters. So we select this setting and then go to CR wires, and on the right hand side we will enter the parameters. So this page ID mean in capital letter, this is is a requirement, and we know that the source component is called UIBB underscore GL, and then we enter the name of our source config. So this is basically the form that we created, and then we press enter, and then let's check the syntax and then save it. So the communicator settings are saved, and then we press the refresh button. So we see the icon gets into the green color. Now with this definition, fundamentally the UI modeling part gets completed. So in our initial steps, the step number 5, this is built. So we have created the single UI search UIBB and single object UIBB. Again, we have defined a wire, and we have defined the communicator settings for this configuration. And now let's after we define a new configuration, there is another setting that will be required. and that is in the process modeling, go to the business activities, and there are two tables. This one is the navigator table where we need to maintain the entry. So we say logical action, let's say star current application star, and so USMD underscore. So we'll select the name of the standard application OVP Gen USMD OVP Gen, and then I'll collapse this, reduce this column width so that we can see. Then in the target UI configuration, out of all this we can select the last one, which is ZZ BS OVP ZA. This is the configuration, UI configuration that we just had in the system, and then we can enter the name of our business activity and then save it. So this is the table entry that is required for the navigation table. There is second link table, which we generally refer to this as a authorization table. So wherein which will provide the authorization for the business activities to use the standard UI configuration. So for this UI application, I'll again select the UI configuration, and then for create logical action, we will authorize the use of the business activity for the model ZA. So with this table entry, we will save it. And then once this thing is done, then the next part of our step would be to do the role assignment. And in order to build a role assignment, let's come out and let's go to PFCG, and let's have the role definition SAP MDG location, and then let's create this role. So let's go to the menu tab. You get a default menu role, and within this let's define a new folder, and let's call this new folder, so obviously, but in the context of our discussion, let's call this as MDG location followed by our model name. So we define this MDG location ZA, and then we MDG location ZA with this folder, and within this folder, using this transaction button, let's create a WebDin Pro application. So whatever application, and which application will be here? The search application, because when we launch a NWBC page, then the first thing we require is the search application, and then from search application we'll navigate to the single object maintenance page. So from this drop down list we get the configuration defined. So we select the configuration, and then we can say continue. So obviously we can have we can define this as MDG search UI, and we can say for ZA our data model name, and once this is done, then we also need to assign our user to the role. So for testing purpose, the user ID that we are using will select this, and then we'll save this role. So now this basically completes uh, the role assignment or the role definition for NWBC. And finally, let's test the application. So let's go to NWBC. So when we get into NWBC, we'll see a link which is ZA MDG location. This is what we created. So we get the name for MDG search UI for ZA, and so I think this page we get a lost connection. So let's quickly do a connection. So sometimes in demo systems this yeah, so I get a so we get and let's see what. So this is the page which our connection was lost, but then again uh, so we get this page, location ID MDG UI for ZA. This is what we entered, and we get a template. So this is the search criteria UIBB, and below this there is a result UIBB. So if we remember, in our search template we said pending change request, name, country key, city. So now when we press this new button, let's see how it looks like. So here the system does the dynamic selection and it adds the change request. And so let's have some data entry. So this is for create location, and below this let's say 300 with a country key, and so let's have name test 300, and first let me check this and then submit this.